Hey everyone, it's Lori from Scraps by Sissy. Welcome to a no, it's not Wednesday, it's Thursday Facebook Live. I know I'm a little late. We were having some technical difficulties with equipment. You know me and technology. It is not my best friend, but we are dealing with what we have. Let's see, try and get logged into this with my laptop. If you sign on, let me know. Say hi. Last time I didn't see any comments while I was filming, and I don't know why. I don't know if I click something on that or what. You know me. Could be anything. But be sure to leave a comment. I always go back and answer the questions, or at least acknowledge that you were there. Let's see. Okay, there we go. We got that going. Okay, so today we are playing with the prized Peony stamp set, which I don't have the cover here, but that's okay. You'll see the stamps in a minute. Anyway, we are going to make the same card, but we're going to make it 3 different ways to get 3 different looks. This is the first card. This is the second card, real tonal card. Well, both of those are very tonal. And then there's the third card. Aren't they pretty? And they're simple. They look like there's a lot there. This one will take a minute, being that we're going to be coloring. And oh, look, my fingernail polish almost matches exactly. I know. Poor Lori. Anyway, all of the measurements on the card are the same. This piece is not at the moment, but the one I've cut and will play with is the same. I'll give you the measurements of the cards and the card bases. When I get done, I will be updating my blog post, and you can get all of the measurements for the product today. My blog is at www.scrapsbysissy.com, and that's the host code for July. If you would like to purchase something, remember we're right in the middle of bonus days. For every $50 order you place, you will get a $5 coupon notification in your email. It's got a code in that email, so save the email, and then next month you can use all of your coupons on 1 or more of your August purchases. Okay, so for our card bases, we are using Gray Granite, Crumb Cake, and Old Olive, and they are all cut at 8.5 by 5.5, and they're scored at 4 1/4. This first layer here in the back, we have one with the Peony Garden DSP, or Designer Series paper, one in Crumb Cake, and it's embossed with the Pinewood Planks 3D embossing folder. And then the third one is in Pretty Peacock, and it's embossed with the Subtle 3D embossing folder, and they are all cut at 3 3/4 by 5 inches. This top layer here is cut with the largest scallop from the Stitch So Sweetly dies, and one is in Crumb Cake and 2 of them are in Whisper White. And then the inside layers, which are all the same, just different inks. So I can get this one open for you. There you go. That inside layer is cut at 3.5 by 4.5 inches. We have one in Crumb Cake and the other 2 are in Whisper White. So we're going to start off with the Gray Granite first. Or is it Granite Gray? I always get those 2 backwards. And then we'll get out our packs. I'm going to show you today on the Crumb Cake layer how to ink your embossing folder and come up with this look. I know it's shocking. Some people think you're putting ink on your embossing folder. It's perfectly okay as long as you have some diaper wipes or baby wipes handy to clean it when you're done. Excuse me. So, like I said, we're using the same stamps, just different inks. And this one, it is Gray Granite, so that's good. We'll start off by stamping our little layer here, and none of them have any sentiments on the front, which this is something new for me. I've always made sure I had a sentiment on the front and one on the inside, but I think it just looked more striking without a sentiment on the front. Kind of focals on the peony rather than the sentiment. So we're inking this up pretty good because I forgot to ink my pad. And with larger stamps, it's much easier to get coverage by doing ink to stamp rather than stamp to ink, if that makes sense to you. And you see I have ink on the outside edge. When that happens, you don't want to rock your stamp because you're going to end up with halos on your paper. Oh, or a big fat thumbprint. Let's see if we can cover that up. Just like that. Because after all, this is handmade, right? Close. We'll put a rhinestone up there to cover that up. And then we'll stamp our inside so we can put the ink away and I don't get any more ink anywhere. So we're going to stamp the smaller posy in the gray granite. We're going to stamp off first, like that. This is one of those distinctive stamps. You can see all the pretty outline, the layers on it. Makes it look more like a picture. And then we're going to stamp the sentiment. You probably hear Chloe's toenails tapping on the floor. She's in here with me. We'll stamp the sentiment right up to the top. And I'll also give you a little tip. When I first loaded my stamps on the blocks, sometimes I have a hard time seeing what is straight. I have a, what do we call it, astigmatism. So if you notice some of my cards where layers are kind of crooked, that's why. But if you look at the center word on your stamp, you can make it straight by looking at that, because some of these, with the way they cut the stamp, it's kind of deceiving to the eye. Hopefully that helps. Now we'll glue all this in, and we're going to use the new, hi Beth, I see you logged on. We're going to use the new Stamp and Seal. I did not bring, see, I'm at 1 week of missing this and I've already messed up. I forgot to bring my Stampin', but well, we'll just use some baby wipes to clean our stamps, as I left my Stampin' scrub over across the room. Rather than leave, we'll just clean these off and be ready for the next ink. Baby wipes are a stamper's best friend. There we go. Make sure there's no ink. There we go. Okay, so we're going to glue this on. We'll get our inside in. Actually, well, I'm not going to do that. I didn't bring a sponge. The other two cards have sponging around the edges. I didn't on this one, primarily because it being Whisper White, it definitely pops against the gray granite card base. So we're going to put down some of this gorgeous gray granite shimmer ribbon. Isn't this pretty? We've had a lot of shimmer ribbons in the past. I like the size on this, and it ties really nicely. So we're going to use some of our Stampin' Seal to adhere this down, and we're just going to do the cheater method so that we don't use a lot per card. We're just going to, see, I'm to put the adhesive on each edge of the card base, and then we're going to trim it and lay it down on that sticky adhesive, just like so. Alright, now we'll add the rest of the adhesive so we can glue this to the front of the card. Now we're going to add some dimensionals on this guy. Maybe. I guess I am going to walk away. Hang on half a sec. Well, it's a Thursday, right? Okay, so we'll lay these down like so. We're going to straddle the ribbon. Attach attach this to the front. Isn't that image just beautiful? Now we're going to cut a piece of this ribbon. We're going to slide it underneath the one that's taped to the card and just tie a little knot, just like that. And we'll trim our little legs, kind of at an angle, and then we'll add some rhinestones. I don't have my take your pick tool, so we'll just use our scissors. Fellow stamper D showed me how to do this little trick using your scissors. That's it, scissors. To pick up your rhinestones. Now this card's going to look a little different because we're placing the rhinestones differently, being I had a smudge up there. But the other two, hopefully we won't have smudges. So there's card number 1, tonal, tonal. Now we're going to do the inking of the embossing folder. Set these aside, clean up our work area a little bit, and we'll do that first. So we're going to take our pretty peacock ink, and we're using the Pinewood Planks 3D embossing folder. And you're going to, you can see how this side is flat and this side has, and here the ridges. That's the side we're going to ink. And you want to just take your ink pad and just drag it across lightly. Try not to press into the folder. See if I can do this without getting ink all over my hands. Although it matches my fingernail polish really well. Okay, so we'll set this aside. Now we're going to run the crumb cake cardstock through the embossing folder. So you're going to lay your, let me bring up the, as I can see, laying my cardstock on this and making a mess. Can you see what I'm doing here? So you're going to take your cardstock and you're just going to do this easily. I'll turn it around for me. You're going to lay it down and fold this over. Put it through your Big Shot. Although we have the new Stampin', what is it called? Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine coming shortly. I'm excited for that. It's not quite so big. All right, let's set this down. Try to remember it's down there so I don't trip and fall. Open this up. Okay, so we have a little smudge of ink there, but that's okay because we're going to hide that with our ribbon. And you're going to come through and clean your embossing folder where it's got ink on her finger. Let's get another baby wipe here. And it just cleans up real easy as long as you do it as soon as you're done embossing. And then it looks all pretty and brand new again. It gets it all over. But then we're getting inky, right? Okay. Here we go. All clean. Especially using Pretty Peacock, right? It's pretty dark ink. Alright, so we're going to we're going to go ahead and put our ribbon on here now. And we're going to do the same thing we did using our Stampin' Seal adhesive. We're going to cover up that splotch of ink, just like so. Doesn't that adhesive hold that ribbon really nicely? I was excited when we came out with our new adhesive, just like that. Now let me get my card base. Looks like my die cut piece is not in there, so we're going to wing this. We're going to go grab the die and we're going to die cut so I can show you how easily that die works on our cardstock. So we're just going to glue that right here. Let's go ahead and do our stamp and get that out of the way. And then I'll go grab another label. Okay, so get the sponged effect. This is one of our sponges. You dip it in the ink and just drag it across the edges like so, and it gives it that distressed look. There you go. And then we'll stamp our flower on the inside. Again, we're going to stamp off. Stamp him right in the corner. The darker ink kind of gives you a better idea on those, the distinctive stamps. Go ahead and wipe him off so we can use him again. And then we'll stamp our sentiment. There we go. Let's close this up for a minute. We'll glue this in here. It comes together pretty fast, even though we had to stop and emboss and grab the die here in a second and die cut our next piece. Okay, so I'll be right back. Good thing I have a lot of scraps. Okay, so I'm going to put this down. We're going to grab our plates, which I forgot. It's okay, they're all right there. One of these days I'll set up my camera right next to everything. So you're just going to place your die on your cardstock, stick down your plates, and run it through. Oh, you know what I forgot? I forgot the little thin die adapter. That's going to be one of the nice things about our new machine. We're not going to have all these different pieces. You'll have your plates, but it's all made for our new dies. So see how much better that works when you have that die adapter in there? There we go. And these just pop right out. Isn't that pretty with those stitch scallops? Set this down. And the new machine isn't supposed to weigh nearly what that one does. That'll be nice too. And the sides fold up, so it'll be easy to store. Thank goodness for small miracles, right? All right, so now we're going to stamp our peony. Isn't that, I just love that image. Oof, we did get a little bit on the back of the card. So whoever gets that card, you're going to know it was done during my live. So we're going to use up all of our dimensionals, cut them down, make them fit. That way we use every single little piece. And then, there we go. Set him down on the card. Tie our little piece here. This is that, it's kind of like linen thread, not linen thread, linen ribbon with the scalloped edges. This is one of the in colors, the pretty peacock. Trim that. And then we'll add our rhinestones. And card number 2, whoops, is done. Oops, maybe. Here we go. So there's card number 2. And they're matchy-matchy, unlike my other one. All right, so now we're going to do card number 3. And on this one, we're actually going to color with our Stampin' Blends. You know, when the blends came out, I thought we had to just use the Memento ink so that your ink wouldn't smear. And then I found out that you can actually use our inks as long as you color lightly and it doesn't let, the ink doesn't smear. So that's what we're going to do on this one. So we're going to use Old Olive. We're going to stamp our peony. Get the rest of the stuff out of the way. Okay, so we're going to stamp like so. And then, since we're all done with him, we'll go ahead and wipe him down. I guess on one of my many trips down to the other side of the studio, I could have grabbed my Stampin' Scrub, right? Oh, poor girl. Okay. So I'm just going to use the light Old Olive to color the leaves. I'm just going to go lightly over it, like so. And as long as you're coloring lightly, it seems to not smear the ink. There's a leaf back there. And you can still see all of the shading from the stamp. We won't see as much in the peony, being I'm using the Pretty Peacock, but it's still there. Okay. I know this shocked me when I found out I could use that to color. So we're going to start with the light. I'm going to use the brush in so it's faster. And you're just going to come in. Is this light? No, this is dark. Whew, glad I looked at that. Come back in. And even coloring over the Old Olive, it's not smearing it. So I'm just going to come across. I'm not going to do it easily. I should say not easily, carefully. We're just going to just color. It's good therapy. Still with me, Beth? Seems like coloring takes a long time sometimes, doesn't it? But it's good for the soul. Helps you just get away from it all, which these days we need that, don't we? Okay. If you haven't gotten your blend markers yet, oh, I urge you to get some. They just make coloring so easy. You don't have to be an artist. As you can tell, that I am not an artist. Come in here and we'll color this guy like so. Now we'll take our dark marker and just kind of go over some of those shadows. Just kind of like that. And I'm not being real careful. As you can tell, trying to hurry. And then I'm going to go back over it again with my light, kind of blend it all together. And the flower goes really well with our reversible ribbon that is in the Pretty Peacock and the Old Olive. Remember, it's from last year with the Pretty Peacock suite of products. Okay, so now I'm just going to go back over. Kind of went out of the lines there. See how it just brightens that flower when you come back over with another layer of ink? Blend in those shadows. Okay. Missed a spot. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and put the card front together because we're going to finish that flower off with some Wink of Stella. Now my pretty peacock is embossed with the subtle embossing folder. And we'll just add our ribbon, just like the others. See how this ribbon is reversible? Isn't it pretty? It's just a very, I'll say cool, because it's going to be, what is it, 107 or something today, but the colors are just calming. And we'll lay him on the front of the card base. Let's add some more adhesive here. Our designers knew what they were doing when they put those two colors together, right? So we'll get some more of our dimensionals. Isn't it nice to be able to just trim what you need off? And then we'll take a piece here. Okay, and we'll layer him over the ribbon. Cut another piece for our knot, our bow, faux bow. Now to get it the same color on both sides, when you tuck that piece in, you want to twist it so that that green is back on top again. Another little tip for you. Trim him. Now we'll put the rhinestones on. Oops. Because you got to have bling, right? Put these, oh, I still need that ink. Wink of Stella is what I'm looking for. And we got some right here. Now Wink of Stella you can use for watercoloring. The alcohol inks out of our Stampin' Blends, when they dry, you don't have to worry about the ink underneath smearing. I'll just come through here and add our shimmer. A lot of shimmer going on today. Put some on our little bud here. Let's see if you can see the shimmer. Alright, so there's that. Now we'll finish off with our inside. I want my pretty peacock so that it imitates the front. And just ink the edges. We'll stamp our flower. And we'll stamp our sentiment. Oops, I didn't check on that. See what I mean about that whole, everything goes like this or like that. It's handmade. We will put this inside. I think I'll send this one to my sister. She doesn't care. And that's it. We're done with our 3 cards. Same card, 3 different looks. Let me clean up my mess so you can see all 3 of them side by side. Shoot, didn't think we were going to make that one today, huh? All right. It's card number 3. I just love those 2 colors together. Card number 2, inking our folder. And card number 1, with the rhinestone covering our smudge. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Leave a comment, please. I will comment back, and then I will, oh, if you want to order any of the items from today, you can just go to today's blog post, which I still have to do yet, and I'll have all the links for all the product we use, and That's it. Happy Thursday, everybody. Keep cool. Bye.